Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say shalom to you Akim and Akwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson, all right? This time it's follow-up, all right, to If These People Get It, Why Don't You, Jake? All right, which was originally, titled World War III, CBDCs, and the C-HIP, okay? And the first part, all right, has been uploaded, all right, on my page. You can go over there, and you see right here, it's called If These People Don't Get It, Why Don't You, Jake? Part 1, all right, dealing with CBDCs and the C-HIP. All right, now this next part, okay, let me get out of here. This next part is really dealing with World War III, all right, and, as it says in the video, and right here, nuclear war, all right, so World War III, nuclear war. All right, that's what this part's dealing with. All right, now we're going to be talking, Lord willing, all right, a little bit more about the C-HIP, all right, and tomorrow, all right, there was a lesson that was put out by Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ramallah. All right, it was all response, I believe, to the Apostle Tahar's video, which is called How Do You Know You Got It? All right, How Do You Know You Got It? And there was a video that was put out by Apostle Gabar, okay, that was called Response, okay, I believe it was called Response. Yeah, Response, how do you know you got it? And then also another response by Apostle Ramallah, all right, GMS Infodoc Channel 12, called, the same thing, how do you know you got it, okay? So they put out a couple. Now, I was watching, I didn't watch Apostle Ramalah's or Apostle Tahar's, because the first one that showed up on my page was Apostle Gabar's, all right, but I watched that one, and, I was watching, I said, let me put a little something together on this, kind of, and it's not really going into like depth as they did, but it's going to be a look into the words, all right, the three different marks, all right, the mark, and the mark, all right, which speaking of, the mark is a tattoo, the mark is in the spiritual mark that's given to the elect, all right, and the mark of, the beast, okay, so the Arphide, all right, so the Matoba, okay. So it'll be going and looking at those three words and then as well getting some scriptures, but it's really, getting into those three definitions, all right, getting the Greek, all right, and really getting into those words, all right, because it seems like a lot of Jake don't do that, okay. But again, this is the second part, all right, and Salaki, I know I said in the lesson, I said I wanted to try to get it out last night. Things ended up coming up. The elder, all right, Elder Menatazak, all right, Elder Menatazak out of GMS, South Carolina. He ended up going live last night. All right, right after, a little bit after, not like right after I ended this lesson, but an hour, and I ended up watching that, and he ended up going for, I'm looking at right now, it was an hour and 54 minutes, and by that time happened, it was late in the house. All right, I was already, it was late. I was tired. All right, and the other thing was that the main reason was it was late in the house and people were, I believe already sleeping. Okay, and I get a little carried away, all right, with my lessons sometimes. Sometimes I yell a little bit loud, all right, and I don't want to be doing that at night, waking people up and causing issues. All right, so I usually do them earlier in the day. That's why you hear, a lot of talking in the day. But, so here we go. This is the second part, all right, the second part, dealing with nuclear war. Now we're starting at, well, we're going to start from the top of the video. I have a timestamp for myself at 10 minutes and 41 seconds in. But let's see. Let's just start it from the beginning. Let's go ahead and pause this, or at least turn it down. We'll turn it down. Let's just see what they have to say. I'm not sure exactly what he's going to say in the beginning. 10 minutes in, we got some stuff we're going to talk about. But let's just start it from the top when they're talking about World War III. Let's just see what they have to say. Make sure this is turned all the way up. All right, so here we go.
Hello, I'm Michelle McCory, and you are watching Kitco News. World War III has already begun, and it is about to get a lot worse. The US will be drawn deeper into the war in Ukraine, and geopolitical conflict will only ramp up as tensions rise in the Middle East, sending oil to well above $100 per barrel. This will all end with either a nuclear exchange or a major false flag event in 2023, which will greatly benefit safe haven assets like gold.
Remember, this is it's been deemed by Apostle Dahar 2023, because she said that 2023 will either end with a nuclear war or a major false flag event. All right, so we're hoping we're hoping for the first one. All right, we don't want a major false flag event. This, as we've known, all right, since the so-called new year came in. Okay, Apostle Dahar deemed this year the hopeful year, all right, of all the prophecies coming to pass. Okay, it's a hopeful year of all the prophecies coming to pass, and among those prophecies, all right, is the Matoba, all right, the arm candy, all right, and the coming of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, okay, and the coming of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So we're hoping for that, all right, we're hoping for that. That's what we're hoping for, okay. So let's continue on, but that's what she was saying. It's false flag event. Now, it's the hopeful year. Now we could go on for another year. All right, another 2 years. We don't know. It's not looking like there's gonna be no 4, 5, 6 years. All right, but it's we're coming to that time. All right, it could be this year. All right, it could be next year. All right, but we're hopeful that it's this year. Sure, it's gonna be. It's worrying, all right, because you've never seen things like that. But you got, through the faith, we know that we're gonna be protected by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Lord willing, we're of the elect. And that's what we're hoping for, is that we're part of the elect. Okay, so like she said, it could end with nuclear war. Could be a major false flag event. All right, there could be other. Hey, man, we're already seeing things. The United States hit their debt ceiling. All right, on Thursday. All right, they're saying that that we gotta wait. Basically, all right. I read a bunch of articles last night about it, talking about the debt ceiling. All right, and there's a couple of things that can happen. All right, one. All right, they can push the debt ceiling up. All right, they can say, hey, we're going to raise this debt ceiling up, all right, and, we're going to allow, $2-3 more trillion to go through, however much money they allow, okay? That's one of the things they can do, okay? Now, the other thing that they can do, all right, is they can default, okay? They can default, all right? And I believe there's one other thing they can do as well. All right, they can default. They can push the debt ceiling up, they can cut some things, and they can default. Now, if they default, that's and I would not be surprised if they default. All right, just the way that the United States is going and the way prophecy is unfolding currently, and how it's looking to get worse and worse. Nothing's getting better; it's getting worse and worse. I would be very unsurprised. All right, if they defaulted. Now, what happens? All right, and we can look this up. All right, what happens when debt ceiling? There was talk about food stamps. There's talk about you could look at food stamps. There's talk about military pay. Another thing is what is it? Social Security. All right. Another thing is what's another thing? Retirement. I believe retirement can fall in there. Certain thing like 401ks and stuff as well. So if you look up debt ceiling 2023, you can look up all those things. They'll give you different information. You can look up debt ceiling and then look. You can just get rid of 2023. Look up debt ceiling and then go to default. Default. What does it mean if it defaults? And CNN, it says, here's what you should know as the threat of default looms. We can grab this one. Let's see what it says. What happens if they default? I believe this is one of the articles that I read. It says, what is the debt ceiling? Okay, so what happens if the U.S. defaults on its debt? And we're going to take a little side trip, all right, to get this real quick, because I don't see myself doing a separate lesson for it, unless the Spirit gets on me to. But what happens if the U.S. defaults on its debt? Now, you got another thing you got to realize is that that's never happened before. Okay, it says there's considerable uncertainty around the forecast. It says once these measures and cash on hand are exhausted, the debt ceiling crisis would start having very real impact. Now, the other thing is there are, a lot of them are saying that you won't feel it for about 5 to 6 months. All right, around June, July is when you're going to start feeling it. Feeling it is because that's when the decision takes place. You're likely going to be affected by then, but around 4 or 5 months from now, that's when they say that's if it defaults, that's when you'll start feeling it. Social Security could get cut. All right, food stamps could get cut. All right, 401ks, pension plans, stuff like that, could get cut. All right, and there's not necessarily saying cut, but you might not get paid. When you think you're going to get paid, might not get paid that month. All right, but it says let's see. Let's see. I said a default would also wreak havoc on the U.S. economy and the global financial markets, as well as raise borrowing costs. Even on the threat of one in 2011 caused the only credit rating downgrade in the nation's history. All right, and I mean it's also going to, already because of this, the nation's dollar is going to plummet, but even worse so then. All right, stock market as well would completely, not be good. Okay. And it's not what it says. What happens when U.S. defaults on debt? Okay, it says the U.S. defaulting on debt would threaten the value of bonds, equities, and the U.S. dollar. Okay, which would unfurl the global market already saddled with high inflation and interest, potential recession, and multiple geopolitical crises. All right, so and lack of a better word, something very bad. Down here it says right here that you see, it says a stock market crash. If it would highlight a stock market crash, it says include a higher interest rates. All right, let's grab this one. NBC4 Washington. This was put on January 19th, 2023. Okay, it says and we can search for it amongst this page if we just look So this would have a negative effect on the stock market, and with faith, the U.S. dollar tied to many other pieces of the global market, those negative effects would be felt worldwide. So not only the United States, it would be bad, man. It would be bad. Now you can look up, and they never have before, but you can look it up. Has the U.S. ever defaulted? Okay, here you go. In short, the United States has never internationally defaulted on its obligations for one reason above the other. It says, will the U.S. ever default on its debt? The U.S. has never defaulted on its debt except the 4 times it did. Well, it says, it says, I guess it's talking about 1862. All right, well, of course, none of us were in this body that we're currently in 1862. All right, so we wouldn't be able to remember that. All right, as we know, there's no remembrance of former things. But, quick little tangent on that. Okay, so, like they're saying it's unlikely that you'll feel it, all right, for a good couple of months, okay? But who knows, but hey, just keep that in mind, all right? We're headed towards worse times. Don't be surprised, okay? Don't be surprised if the U.S. Defaults, okay? And I'm not going to make any predictions or anything, okay? But I will say that I would be very, very unsurprised, okay, if they did default, all right? If they defaulted, I would be less surprised. I would be more surprised if they didn't default, okay, is what I'm going to say. But I'm not going to make any predictions, okay? Don't take my word for it, okay? Just know, through the scriptures, we know that things aren't going to get better, all right? We know that. But let's get back to the lesson, all right? Short little tangent we had to go on there, all right? Because I know that's a recent thing. It's currently, was it Saturday now? No, it's Friday now, all right? So that happened yesterday, all right? That was a yesterday thing that happened, okay? So let's get back to the lesson at hand. All right, World War III, nuclear war. All right. Again, we're probably going to talk about, R-FIDE. All right, the Matoba more tomorrow. All right, Lord willing. All right, there is a tomorrow. All right, or at least I'm available for it. Okay, you always got to say Lord willing. You never know, man. All right, so Lord willing, I'll do that tomorrow. That's my lesson plan for tomorrow, unless something comes up in the spirit or something comes up and I end up doing something different. But that's the one I got planned, all right, and worked out, all right, for tomorrow, Lord willing. So let's go ahead and play this video, grab some scripts.
And on the domestic front, governments will increase their grip over their citizens through central bank digital currencies or CBDCs, which can be used to crack down on political dissidents. However, the state will be unable to stop growing populist discontent over issues like war, immigration, and economic malaise, giving rise to new political movements. And this will all happen against a backdrop of growing artificial intelligence and automation, which could leave millions of blue and white-collar professionals out of a job. Well, all of these dark and very dire predictions for 2023 are from my next guest, Gerald Celente, the publisher of the Trends Journal and the founder and director of the Trends Research Institute. And Gerald has a 40-year track record of forecasting and identifying trends. His many accurate forecasts include the 1987 stock market crash, the dot-com bust, the gold bull run, the rise of organic foods, and even the popularity of gourmet coffee long before Starbucks was a household name.
So there you go. So this guy has a couple predictions, on his belt here that he, and he doesn't have it, he doesn't have the, the spirit, the Holy Spirit working with him or anything like that. He's not in this truth, all right? But, through, the Most High might let him know certain things, all right? And through, his studying of, the economics, all right, or however he's doing it, okay? Through study of, watching how the market is, all right? Certain things like that. Some people are gifted that necessarily aren't, are not necessarily even in this truth, or even Israelites, all right? There's some Edomites that, have more of an eye of what's going on, all right? It doesn't mean they're, the Holy Spirit's working with them and there's some grand being. No, just their eyes haven't been blind to that specific thing. Okay, so this guy right here, all right, I'm not sure. He could be an Israelite. I'm not gonna say he's not. All right, I don't think he is. All right, but Gerald Celente, he's from New York. And if he happens to go back Italian, if he happens to be Sicilian, all right, and I can look that up right now. I can see what he is. Gerald Celente. Let's see what he is exactly. So-called, all right, because you never know. You could say that he's Ashkenazi Jew on his dad's side, and then go back in his dad's line somewhere there was a so-called black person. You never know. His background. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Celente was born in an Italian-American family in the Bronx, New York. All right. So he's Italian. So we just don't know what. So he could be a Jake. All right, he could be a Jake. You never know. All right, I'm not sure his wealth. All right, if he's super crazy. Let's see, net worth. Let's look at his net worth. $5 million, $1 to $5 million. So he's not really worth that much. Another one says he's only worth $9.2 thousand to $55,000. $1.4 million. So he's not doing so great. We gotta realize, there are Israelites. Look at Kanye, man. He's made way more money than that. Okay, but you never know. This guy could be a Jake. Who knows? All right, he's Italian. If he goes back to Sicilian, a lot of Sicilians, the original Sicilians, were from so-called Negroes. So hey, you never know.
Gerald, welcome back to Kitco.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle.
Gerald, I'm going to need a very strong cup of coffee to get through this very, very sobering interview. We're going to break down the trends that you're forecasting for 2023 and also, of course, discuss what this means for investors. And look, this is a very, very grim forecast that you have. Your number 2 trend for 2023 is market meltdown and economic calamity, which you did in fact caution us when you were on the show last would begin in 2022 and escalate into 2023. And as dire as that is, we have to first focus on your even more distressing forecast. And your top trend for 2023 is World War III. You're saying we're going from COVID war to Ukraine war to World War. Explain that.
Yeah, well, the COVID war changed life. The damage that it's done to billions of people around the planet is incalculable. The businesses that have gone out of business, the lives and livelihoods have been destroyed, and a whole different culture. wearing masks now is now, part of the Western way, particularly the American way. And the Ukraine war just keeps ramping it up as governments continue to take more and more control and dictate to the people. I mean, here we are in the United States. By the way, I had so you know where I'm coming from. I had a peace rally back in February, of July of 2023.
2022.
Of 2022, excuse me. And I had Judge Andrew Napolitano, Scott Ritter, Gary Null, Phil Giraldi. Phil Giraldi, top former CIA guy.
All right, we're gonna interject real quick just because something came to my mind. We're gonna go ahead and say it that this is used with fair use, because I figure they might try to hit me on this one. They didn't hit me on the other one, but in case it needs to be said, this is fair use. This is being reported on, all right, as news, okay, as a commentary. I am adding a commentary to it. All right, we are speaking on this. We're going into this. All right, we're weighing this through scriptures here. All right, this is fair use. Okay, so if you take it down, it's completely unjustified. But we know you just do whatever. You make your own laws and you break them. So but if you do take it down, well, I'm gonna submit that report. I'm gonna hit the I'm gonna contest it. I'm gonna contest it. All right, and I'll put a big list to the Fair Use Act. All right, and we'll see if you ignore it. You've done it before.
Goes into George W. Bush's office. This is a fact. Shows them the data. There are no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And you know what George E. Bush told Phil Giraldi, the top CIA guy? Get out of the office. And Phil Giraldi quit. So when I talk about these issues and these trends, I'm using information and data that's factual and to see where we're going. So now let's go back to the demise of America's 20-year war in Afghanistan, where Biden pulls out the troops and it's a terrible, terrible scene, and the public is really disgusted with it. Then all of a sudden, the Ukraine war, everybody forgot about that. Now we're going to help fight the Ukraine to defeat the Russians. This is not a proxy war. America is at war with Russia. They're sending in Ukrainian troops to give them the skills to use the weapons that we're giving them. By the way, since February 24th, 2022, America has sent over $1 billion to Ukraine in weapons and quote aid. So now we're bringing troops over here to America to train them on how to use these weapons. Number two, the Defense Secretary of the United States, Lloyd Austin, former general, now a defense secretary? Oh, no, I forgot. His job before that was sitting on the board of directors of Raytheon, the second largest defense contractor in America. He announced that we are sending, quote, advisors into Ukraine to show them how to use the weapons that America is sending them there. So it's called mission creep. And that's what they're doing. So America is at war, and NATO is at war with Russia. They are already pumping this thing that if a nuclear bomb goes off, here's 3 steps to take.
Yep.
They're running ads.
That's true. All right, we touched on that. We touched that in the last one. All right, you had the brother Samak Ephraim that was making he made a lesson, all right, on the articles coming out. And we looked it up in our last lesson, and there's 3 articles. The one that Samak Ephraim went into, I had one that I found, and there was another one that I didn't see at all, but that was there. Okay, and they're the best place to hide during a nuclear blast, best place to hide during a nuclear war, best, hey man, and like the brother went into, all right, the best place to hide in a nuclear blast is in a chariot, man. Okay, that's the best place. All right, but these people, where to hide, how to hide, where to bunkers, where to go, where to this and that. So hey, man, they're getting ready for it. They don't just look. 5 years ago, they weren't putting out ads like that, man. All right, and I'm saying man too much, slack you. But they weren't doing these things. They weren't putting where to hide, where to go, what happens in the result of a nuclear blast, how many people will die in a nuclear blast, is there going to be a nuclear blast, will this be Armageddon? There was none of that. All right, none of that 3 years ago. Okay, there was none of that, but there is now.
New York City. When I was a kid, I just turned 76. They used to have us hiding under desks, scared out of our lives if the Russians are going to drop an atom bomb. Oh, that's going to really save your life. You're under a desk and an atom bomb goes off.
Yep.
Just like the 3 steps they're taking you. Go into your house, stand in the middle of the room, and take a shower. What are you kidding? You're dust. This is the stupidity, but here's what the Americans know. Hey, did you hear about that football player that got a heart attack? Oh, my God.
Yep.
This only went on for what, a week and
Exactly.
a half? Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, I hope they're back. This is the stupidity. And the breaking news that Jill Biden has to get some surgery over her eye. Top Yahoo News story. So what I'm saying is that people don't have a clue of what's going on, the dangers behind it, and the implications.
So yeah,
I hear
they're
that.
They're teaching the in America. It's basically just breeding stupidity is what they're doing, for the most part. That's why you got things like TikTok and these dumb YouTube videos. And sure, certain those things can be fine for entertainment, but a lot of you got to look at the youngest generations, right? And the people that are soaking that up in troves. Okay, you got to look. They're some of the dumbest goddamn people. Okay, they really want to dumb down American society, and they've not just do they want to, but they've actually been pretty successful with it. Okay. One moment. They've actually been pretty successful with it for the most part, all right? If you look at how dumb the average person is, hey, man, it's like that George Carlin skit. He says, think about how dumb the average person is, and then realize half of them are dumber than that, okay? There's a stupidity crisis in America, really, okay? And the people are dumb. All right, the people are dumb. Americans are some of the dumbest people. If you go and compare the average intellectual capability of your American, all right, with people in hell, even Canada's pretty bad too. Maybe we compare it to places some places over in Europe. Okay, as well as the Nordic, so-called Nordic places. All right, you got like your Norway, all right, your Greenlands, all right, your Swedens, your Finlands, all right, and compare intellects. Okay, of those different people, all right, Americans against whoever, take your pick. Okay, you're gonna see there's a high amount of idiocy, all right, that's coming out of the United States. A high amount, man. Okay, a high amount. Okay, you don't see some of the most stupid shit you see comes out of America. The dumbest movies come out of America. The most ratchet, shitty music comes out of America. All right, the stupidest trends, all right, come out of America. All out of America. Okay, you got to realize they're really and people and like the guy Gerald, all right, was saying. I think it's just Gerald Salente. All right, Gerald was saying. Okay, they don't know about nuclear war or where to hide or we're gonna do this, but they can tell you about the guy and that false flag event, because that's really was the guy that had a heart attack. I can't remember his name. All right, I remember is I was at a restaurant when it happened. Okay, I remember seeing it on TV and everybody praying, and I was like, oh wow, it's pretty crazy. It looks like he, I didn't really pay too. I was eating my burger, so I was paying too much attention, so I was like, well, look, I guess someone got injured. And it happens in football, it happens in sports in general. All right, but they're making it a big deal. I was like, oh, I don't know. I guess he must have really hurt himself. All right, but at least I think that was the one. I think that was the day that happened. But so yeah, man. But that's what goes around. Goes around the talk of a sports injury or like he was saying. What else did he say? I know he said Jill Biden's eye, and then the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing. All these things that really they're really doing. All right, those things are really doing. All right, is keeping your eyes off of things that are actually important to keep your eye on. Okay, they're red herrings, false flag events. All right, they're distractions. Okay. And a lot of them are lies too anyway. When you see certain things, there might be a fake, there might be a crisis act or situation. All right, we're not going to name any specific ones. All right, because that makes your video ripe for the pickings to be taken down. Okay, and do it on a backup channel, yeah, sure, all day. But I like this lesson, at least make it up for, but So yeah, you know, and that's what they feed to the American citizens, all right? And 99% of them buy it up, all right? And if you don't buy it up and you say, hey, there's something wrong with that, what do they call you? They call you, oh, you're a fucking loony. You're a wacko. You're a nut job, all right? You're one of those conspiracy theorists, all right? And that's one of the reasons they push all these false flag events, all right? And they do all this stuff, and they get your average American citizen to buy into it, all right? And then when people, you know, think, you know, something like, you know, that event that happened, you know, quite a few years ago, you know, in 2001, that we're not going to specifically mention because who knows what the policy on YouTube is about speaking about that, all right, but it had planes in it, I'll tell you that, all right, when anybody criticizes that or points out the obvious flaws, and if you look into that, all right, oh boy, if you've done some real research, any average Joe, well, not any average Joe, because like we've talked about before, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahushai can blind the minds of people, all right, and he does it quite frequently, all right, most of the people's minds are blinded, but if you have that ability, okay, if you have that ability that you're not blinded for that specific thing, you look into that and man, boy, does it stink, okay, boy, does it stink, you know, they talk, you know, it was, the Rothschilds had their hands in it, all right, investments, all right, they got protected specifically if the building had been totaled completely to the ground, and I believe if it was a part of a terrorist attack as well, okay, I'm not sure if a terrorist attack necessarily was one of the requirements, but one of the requirements was that it would have to be gone down to completely to the ground, and if anybody knows anything about architecture, all right, and you don't even have to be an architect, all right, if something, you know, the way these buildings are built, all right, these skyscrapers they're meant to withstand impacts, all right, and earthquakes and stuff. So, and if you saw, you know, when the thing hit, all right, at a certain point, okay, and hopefully this doesn't pick up in their algorithm, when the first one hit, all right, that building wasn't going down. It wasn't going to, all right. It wasn't until, you know, the bombs started going off. All right, and that's what really leveled it was the bombs, all right, because they were bombs set up. And oh yeah, he's a conspiracy theorist now. Even though he worked there, he was a janitor there, worked there for years, fine, you know, saved a bunch of people, but no, he's a wacko. He said there was a floor up above, all right, that was locked, all right. I guess he couldn't even get into it. Nobody was allowed to go up there in one of the floors, all right. It was the floor above I don't know if it was above the bottom floor, the floor above ground level, all right, and it was locked, all right. And he heard moving up there, like large things moving around, probably, you know, large explosives and dynamite sticks, all right, and, you know, things that they need to, you know, set things in place and charges and all of that, who knows, C4, all right, however they're doing it, all right, and placing those and banging around up there. Nobody could get up there. Nobody was allowed to go in there. I don't even think he had the key to get to it, all right, and then he talked about, you know, fireballs blasting out of elevators. All right, and that's not how it happens. All right, on the bottom floor. And the other thing is he heard a giant explosion from under him. Why was there an explosion from under him? And he, you know, I think he rushed down, and I think he saw someone come out of the elevators of, you know, their fucking skin peeled off because of fireball. So yeah, man, it doesn't add up. But if you ask your average person about it, and you tell them, oh, there's things wrong with that. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. That's wrong. You know, lots of people died during that. You can't talk about that. That's wrong. Leave it alone. It's already been proven. It was terrible. No, but you can't tell them that America did that to their own people. You can't say that. They won't believe it. So anyway, we went on a little bit of a tangent there, but really what the guy was saying is, you know, that's what American people think. They really take everything at face value. You tell them, you know, this thing's gonna help. You better go and run over to your local clinic and take it. And then what do? They run, and you don't try to take my video down, you fucking mites, all right? You're saying, oh, well, he's speaking about, how do you know what I'm talking? I'm talking about running a clinic and getting something. I could be speaking of purchasing something. You don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so don't try to do it, okay? But you run over to a clinic and get it, all right, get something. All right, and well, they said it was good for me. All right, and then, you know, and that's it. Then you take it from face value. And then people, you know, when there's research coming in, like, oh, these things have, you know, bad things with them, or there's this, it's causing this, and this. Oh, and other countries had research about this as it was in the trials, and all this, and then no, it's not. No, they would never do that. They would never do that. They would never do that to us. They would never do something. I'm like, these Americans really think that the government's there to help them. All right, and they take everything at face value. All right, and they've been dumbed down. All right, society's been dumbed down. But anyway, let's continue on with the video.
And this is why we have you to help them get a clue.
They
And
won't get
I
a clue.
hear you
They
on
won't get
this
a clue.
being
They won't
perhaps
listen.
a proxy war between the
They'll-
U.S. and Russia.
They'll look at a guy like this. They won't get a clue. They'll look at a guy like this Gerald Celente guy, and they'll say, "He's fucking crazy. He's crazy. He doesn't know what's talking." And then guess what? Happened? World War III starts, and it's not not that he prophesied it. The prophets. Let's use the people within this truth. All right, you could have we could be saying all the time, saying, "Hey, hey, there's going to be World War III. All right, the Matoba's going to come. World War III, the Matoba's going to come. World War III, the Matoba come. There's going to be nuclear war, Matoba. All right, and World War III, this is going to happen. 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 All right, over and over and over again. Videos outside on highways and byways, going out all ways and all shapes and forms and all manners. All right, and they won't believe it. They won't believe it. They won't believe it. And then it'll happen, and they still won't believe it. They still won't believe it. They still won't. It's like, what the fuck? It literally. But during the pandemic, all right, they got quiet for a little bit. They did quiet because before that, I wasn't really fully into the truth at that point in time. I was waking up. All right, I knew that I was an Israelite, but I wasn't fully into it at that point. All right, when like 2019, early 2020, I still wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. All right, but when that happened, all right, the elders and apostles have been preaching for a while. All right, that because I believe I even saw videos. All right, before I was because I watched a few. Like I said, I wasn't really fully into it, but I believe there was videos of them talking about it. Okay, and they were talking about it for years, even before I came in, even before a lot of you came in. Okay, even if you've been in for 5 years, they've been talking about wars, pestilence, to 10, 20 years. I mean, this truth's been going out. All right, all the way since back in at 1 West. Okay, I think what is it? I'm not gonna give the exact number, but I know Apostle Hart. He's been in the truth for like 30ish years, I believe. Okay. And if the truth was coming out then they must have been talking about World War III, nuclear war, all right, and pestilence and plagues, all right? But nobody believed them then. They're not going to believe us now, all right? And most of them aren't even going to believe us when it happens, okay? They're saying, oh, no, it couldn't be God, all right? It's something else. It's something else. It's something else. But they did get a little quiet during the pandemic. They were pretty afraid for a minute. And then after everything, went kind of back to normal, they were allowed to leave their house again. They're like, oh, whatever, no, blah, 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 blah. Scoffers quieted down for a little bit.
Russia. The Biden administration just last year gave nearly $50 billion in assistance to Ukraine, including humanitarian.
They gave $50 billion to Ukraine, but now, on Thursday, and when was this video put out? Not this lesson. 2 days ago. So Wednesday, they gave that money, and guess what? Didn't happen that day, but they gave, billions of dollars to Ukraine. And guess what? Now the U.S. has hit their debt ceiling. How fucking stupid.
In financial and, of course, military support. And as you just highlighted, President Biden said there would be no U.S. boots on the ground in Ukraine, but the Pentagon has, in fact, confirmed the deployment of active duty military personnel in Ukraine. They're claiming that no U.S. forces are conducting combat operations in Ukraine, but you have personnel there that are assigned to conduct security cooperation and assistance as part of the Defense Attaché Office. So you have U.S. personnel resuming on-site inspections to assess the weapons stock in Ukraine. I hear you on this being a proxy in many ways. I hear you on this being an escalation. But let's get to how you see this really becoming nuclear Armageddon. By the way, you're quite right. In New York, we have been seeing public service announcements of what to do in the event of a nuclear war, which of course is pretty distressing. Not nearly as distressing, though, as what you write in your journal. And in the 2023 Trends Journal, you write, World War III will be the US, NATO, and its allies versus China, Russia, and its allies.
North Korea is amongst those.
And the winner will be climate change.
Climate change is bullshit. So he's he ain't in the truth. Okay, he ain't in the truth, so he ain't gonna get it. Okay, so NATO, the EU, all right, US, all right, it's gonna seem to start that way, all right, but everyone's gonna turn against the US, all right. It's not gonna have any allies. Okay, and that's prophesied. Okay, that's prophesied within the book of Revelations. Okay, we can actually go there and grab that right now. 1 minute. I gotta find it first. Let me see. Yeah, we can get that. Okay. We got it. Okay. Let me move. Get out of the way. God damn it. Come on now. Come on now. All right. We can prove this real quick by going. Now, the first thing we're going to do. See if I can get the image. There we go. There we go. Can I get a This is quality enough. So here we go. It says the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO. All right, 10 horns. 10 horns. See that? 10 horns. Remember that word, 10 horns. Okay, and of course, this is a wonderful image you can look at. All right, we'll leave it up for a little bit. Maybe it'll give it. Maybe we can put this as the thumbnail. Cell of philosophy, it shows you all the philosophies, democracy, religion, adultery, Moism, lies, idolatry, Slakia, and adultery, covetousness, and murder. All right, you got Revelation 17, which we're going to grab. All right, Revelation 13, which speaks of Revelation 13 and 16, I believe, speaks on it as well. So you got the seven heads of the 7 governments or kingdoms reigned by Esau. And what is that? All right, Germana Minor, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, the Germana. Did I say Germana Minor? I said Germana Major. All right, the Romans, French, Spanish, Germana Minor. All right, and the British and the Greeks. All right, and then you have 17 and 1. All right, Revelation 17 and 1. You have America, which is the great whore. All right, sitting on top. Okay, so now that you got that, we can let's actually go and we can go and grab. Let me see something real quick. Let me get King James Version online. See what it has to say. All right, for see what we want to get. Give me a minute. Yeah, Revelation 17 and 1. All right, because you got I think we got rid of the image. Oh, no, we didn't. We still got it. All right, there you go. The Great Whore, America. All right, a.k.a., Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. All right, so we got in Revelation chapter 17 and 1, it reads, "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." All right, in verse 2 it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. All right, and that's why you see these these Chinese businessmen, these North Korean businessmen, or these South Korean businessmen. All right, and and sometimes you always don't see them, but working behind the scenes. All right, from different countries. All right, these different rulers. All right, coming over. All right, making investments in the United States. Building companies in the United States. All right, building building empires in the United States. Essentially, wealth empires. Through music industry, TV industry, movie industry. All right, the oil market. All right, all these different markets, clothing. All right, all these different markets. Even though the main one with all this stuff is Amalek. All right, but these other nations come over to become rich. All right, to become rich with them. All right, they've been drunk and made wine of her fornication, and that's really. They've committed fornication with her, and that's also because United States sends out their really what that's talking about, and that's another scripture what I was getting in Salakia, but really it goes into all nations have drank of the wine, all right, of Babylon, which means that's why you see things like other countries. I can't remember if it was Chile or one of them legalized relationships, marriages, all right, marriages, okay. and so on and so forth. All right, say LGBT this, all right, that, and allowing this, and allows trans this, and this people that, all right, and philosophies that are coming out of Babylon. That's why you're seeing them in other places, all right, because these other places have become drunk with the wine of Babylon's the whore's fornication. All right, America, all right, Babylon the Great. Okay, let's see. And in verse 7 it says, "And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the beast that carrieth her." Okay, and that which has 7 heads and 10 horns. All right, speaking of right here. Okay, now another scripture, the one I was speaking of that I incorrectly at the time, Salakia. I was speaking of 2, but I was actually speaking of says is it her wicked? Let's see. Yeah, Salakia. So I was incorrectly quoting. I was getting Revelation 17 and 2 in my mind confused with Revelation 18 and 3. This is speaking of the philosophies and doctrines. All right, that's spoken in here. All right, these: democracy, religion, idolatry, Moism, lies, adultery, and adultery. I gotta emphasize covetousness, murder. All right, Moism is one of the big ones going out right now. You see the other nations. All right, also partaking in those. All right, because they've all intertwined this philosophy, and that's one of the big things the United States want to do. So-called USA, all right, really, Babylon the Great. It's one of the things they wanted to do is they wanted to send this all out on other nations. All right, now you got all these nations being moes and dressing up like girls and guys and clowns and fucking what, all this crazy stuff. But another scripture that I want to grab, and this is the one I was speaking of when I was, incorrectly speaking in 17 and 2. I got the 2 twisted, so wanted to make sure we got that corrected. All right, this 17 is 2 is speaking of, being drunk, the philosophies of all of these other nations, all right, the kings of the earth, the other kings of the earth, all right, and these other nations as well being, made drunk with Babylon's wine, which is their philosophy, which is, their philosophy being these things over here to the left, as you see, philosophy, democracy, the philosophy is democracy, religion, idolatry, homosexuality, lies, adultery, covetousness, and murder, all right, as well as, I'm sure other things. You can't put, all of them in, That pretty much wraps it up, though. That pretty much wraps it up. That's pretty much all of them right there. All right, I can't think of any else that come off the top of my head. But in Revelation 18:3, the one I was speaking of, this is another thing, too. These people wax rich off of it, okay? This is Revelation 18:3. It says, "For all nations have drank of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." Okay, so they drink of that wine. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All right, that's why you see these other places. They're these foreign people coming over to the United States and making these markets and creating these things. All right, and what are they doing? They're waxing rich off the abundance of her delicacies. All right, waxing rich through wickedness is really what they're doing. Okay, but let's continue on. He's going to talk a little bit about nuclear war.
Climate will change into the.
So again, he's not gonna touch up. Let's see what a little bit he has to say. We're gonna get going. How long have we been talking? 48 minutes. We gotta get to the scriptures. I know we grabbed a few, but I want to get more into them.
I think we're going to get a nuclear war in 2023.
Let's look at the imbeciles and morons running the show.
Mm-hmm.
I just told you I turned 76 years old. The year before I was born, it was the end of World War II, not ancient history. Maniacs destroyed Europe. Crazy people. Oh, and before that one, World War I. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy, Yankee Doodle Do or Die. Let's go throughout history. What's your favorite war? I like the 100-Year War. No, the War of Roses was so beautiful. You got crazy people in charge. Look at the clown show. How can anybody with a brain bigger than a pea look up to a Mitch McConnell, a little Chucky Schumer, Lindsey Graham, all these tough guys that couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag that love war. They're mentally deranged. Hey, what's your favorite war? I told you about the Iraq War, how little Georgie Bush, a daddy's boy born on third base and thought he had a home run, lied us into the war. The facts were there. Never any weapons of mass destruction. Oh, and we're going to get that guy, Osama bin Laden, dead or alive up there in Afghanistan. That's a quote. And 88% of the American people swallowed it.
Okay, that was then. Some very colorful comments that you've made about past and current leaders. And again, the competency of the current administration does, many would say, escalation. But escalation.
Right.
1999?
The war has not been going as President Putin would like it to go, and that he is going to be backed into a corner and into a move of desperation. But from what I'm hearing, you're thinking that Ukraine is going to up the ante.
Absolutely. And the United States. And again, you're not going to... Again, I'm totally opposed to war. I want to make this 100% clear.
That is very clear. That is very clear.
I launched Occupy Peace movement back in 2014. So I'm totally opposed to war. But I totally understand why it happened. This is your Trends Journal from spring, when it used to be a quarterly, now it's a weekly. 2014, the United States coup of the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych, written by Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former Assistant Treasury Secretary under Ronald Reagan. Washington is driving the world to the final war. It's all about the United States coup of Ukraine government. This has been going on forever. Hey, once upon a time, there was a guy by the name of Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces, 2-term president. Farewell address, January 17th, 1961. The military-industrial complex is robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, the sweat of the laborers, and the future of the children. He goes on to say that after every war before, there was no military-industrial complex. Those that were making plows started making armaments for the military, and then it went back to making plows. It's a total takeover, and all you have to do again is look at who the guy that's playing our Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, formerly sitting on the board of directors of Raytheon, the second largest defense contractor in the United States.
And Raytheon shares have done very well lately, but
sitting on the board of takeover before address, January 7th.
Can I have it, please? God damn.
Trend 8.
Fucking give me the goddamn video.
The percentage of a diplomatic off-ramp for the Russia-Ukraine crisis at.
It depends on the United States and NATO. Over and over again, Russia said that they're not going to give up this territory. Again, this thing has been going on for some 300 years, a border dispute. They're taking down the statue of Catherine the Great. Oh, wasn't she great? In 1750? Oh, you mean, but she created Odessa? Oh, they hate her? This has been going on over and over and over. This is an issue between these two countries that they have to solve. This is not, again, I, Gerald Celente, am an American. A Napolitano, born in the Bronx, born to be free, and I believe in the founding fathers, like George Washington. No
anyway,
foreign entanglement.
What he's basically getting in is he's basically saying this isn't America's war to fight, and it's not. It's really not. All right, everybody knows that, and it's a thing that, like he said, it's been going on for ages, man. All right, if you really want to get down to it, Ukraine is a Russian province. All right, now in fucking United States, you'll be canceled if you say that, but it was. All right, it was. Okay, let's look at let's see. Early map of the world. Let's see if we can get one. We kind of need one that we can see. What are these fucking pictures gonna do any good? Medieval Europe. Let's see. Give me 1 minute. Bear with me. Ah, God damn it. Ah, God damn it. I'm gonna. I just can't really see it over there. You got Sweden. It looks like it's also accompanying what's now Finland. Let's see. So that's Russia. Yeah, you don't see any Ukraine on here for some reason. I wonder why. You know, let's look up that's another thing we could look up. Look, Soviet Union map. Yeah, the Ukrainian SSR. Let's look up. It dissolved in 1991. Anyway, you know, so this, you know, you can go back, and if you go back like we looked up first, if you go back and look at the old maps, they were always apart. All right, so they're really just warring with themselves. It's ridiculousness, really. But anyway, we need to get in some scriptures. We've been on tangents too long and doing, you know, listen to the guy talk about what he thinks. But hey, we have scriptures to prove our point here, all right, so we're speaking on nuclear war, all right? Let's get 2nd Esdras 15 and 5, okay? Because it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen, all right? Let's grab it. Okay? And where are we going down? Did we just get 5 or down through 14? Because it's going to happen, whether you believe it or not. All right, the Lord's coming back. Okay. And he's gonna destroy this place. And that's, and one way is going to be, with nuclear arms. Okay. Nuclear arms. Okay. And man, we could actually get even further than this, but we'll go to 17. Okay, we'll go to 17. So this is prophesied to come. There will be nuclear war. All right, and in the midst of that, all right, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to save his elect. All right, because it's going to be nuclear bombs going off and blowing. Hey man, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really, 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 really bad. Okay, but a lot of you people don't believe it's ever going to happen. All right, as the lesson that street teacher put out the other day. All right, these people don't believe there's ever going to be a they don't think the United States is ever going to fall. But ooh boy, you are so wrong. Okay, this is 2nd Esdras, okay, 15 and starting at verse 5, and it reads, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world." Bear with me. Turn up the volume there since we're not doing the video anymore. Slakia. "Behold, saith the Lord," 2nd Esdras 15, verse 5. "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." Okay, it didn't say love, peace, and happiness, all right? Like, as most people think, God bless America. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to destroy America. "The sword, famine, death, and destruction." Why? "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just meaning, the righteous, complain continually." And we could probably get that if we click on just. What does it say? Just, fair, morally right, all right? Rightness, spiritually right, all right? Which would be righteous, all right? Okay, "And therefore, thus saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them." All right, you got to realize there are people, all right, you got a whole nation of people, all right, of Israelites, that are in Babylon the Great, that are sighing, crying, and screaming, and wanting out of this place, all right? And like it says, "It crieth unto me, the souls of the just complain continually," all right? The Israelites, we want out of this place, all right? We don't want to continue in this place, all right? All the things here are just temporary, all right? We want we want the reward, all right? We want to be walking amongst Yahushai. We want to be, ruling in righteousness. We want there to be righteousness established on the earth. We don't want to see people dressing up, dudes with beards walking down the street in fucking prom dresses. We don't want to see that anymore, man. We don't want it, all right? We want better bodies. We want to be able to rest. We don't want to be under the control of Esau. Hey, man, we want a better place. Verse 9, "And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." And you got to realize that Babylon the Great is spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom. Why? Because the same things that were going on there are going on here. Okay, here being America, all right, aka it's so-called America. All right, it's really Babylon the Great. Okay, the revised Roman Empire. Verse 12, "Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment of that the Most High shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." All right, and as it goes down to 15, 16, and 7, it says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go in a city and not be able." Okay, and another one, 18. All right, and this is example, the stories of like Nebuchadnezzar. All right, verse 18. "For because of their pride The cities shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right, the proud kings, and so on and so forth. All right, another one, 19. It's just heavy. It just keeps on going heavy, man. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. This is speaking of Jacob's trouble, all right? People are going to be busting heads, all right, and ripping throats to get your Cheerios, all right? Get your Cheerios and your box of Apple Jacks that you left in your, someone said fridge, God damn it, your cupboard, all right? They're going to bust your head over for a 3-year-old can of corn, okay? We're going to some serious times, all right? And World War III is going to go on after that. Hey, mark of the beast. We got prophecies. And all the prophecies that are left to unfold. None of them are good for you, worldly people. They're not good for you. All right, there's going to be, lack of bread. There's going to be pestilences. There's going to be people women. You're going to be ravaged in the street. All right, ripped apart. Are being, taken without your will. All right, death, murders, wars going on. All right, uprising of the people. All right, famines, droughts. All right, hey, it's and in nuclear war, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, all right? And it's going to happen through these countries, these warring countries, all right? These warring countries, these nations, all right? It's looking like it's going to be Russia, all right? One of them, all right? Because Putin already said that there's rumors he's terminally ill, and he's not gonna go out without taking people with him. He has nothing to. It's not gonna be in his lifetime. What does it have to hurt him any? All right, he's dying, man. Supposedly, all right. So, if you're dying and you're like, you could do whatever you want. It's not gonna, worldly people that don't believe in this truth. All right, we know there's, judgment for that. All right, you're still gonna get in trouble if you did those things. But worldly Edomites, they're like, what's this? What's gonna hurt me if I do this? All right, he doesn't care. All right, he's Nero coming back. All right, that's Nero. Or is that Is it Nero, or am I confusing Nero with Donald Trump? Let me see. Nero. If my keyboard would stop falling, that'd be great. No, Nero, Slocking, not Nero. No, Nero is Nero's Donald Trump. Who? What was his name? Let me see. That wasn't. Who was it? It was yeah, Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar, Constantine. I can't remember who the apostles said he was, but it was one of those two, I believe. It might. There's a picture of it. Caesar, yeah, Caesar. All right, so Caesar. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's the one the apostles mentioned. And then of course you got Nero. All right, if you look at a picture of Caesar, all right, and then Putin, man, oh, they look frighteningly similar. All right, even down to the lips. God damn. All right, you can look that up. So there you go. But yeah, man. So these people, they're coming back. But he doesn't have anything to lose out on. Okay, he doesn't care. Revelation 11 and 8. Let's get it. So yeah, we're grabbing this, all right, to further drive the point home, okay? And their body and their dead slocking, and their Revelation 11 and 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. All right, if you read up, and it talks about where is it? Yeah, nice. It's is this that's really speaking to Israelites. Okay. Let's see that right there in verse 11. Are we grabbing 11 and 15? We are grabbing 11 and 15, right? So we're gonna wait on that one. All right, but yeah, so there you go. That shows you, okay, right there. It shows you in verse 8. It says, "In the dead." Well, if you read up in 7, it says, "And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them." This is obviously speaking of Babylon. Okay, it's obviously speaking of Babylon. Okay, and you can see in the same, in verse 13 it says, "And in the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and the earthquake, and in the earthquake were slain men of 7,000. 7,000 is a complete number, everybody who's not of the elect, okay? And the remnant were affrighted," the remnant being the elect, "and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven." Okay, and then 14, there it is. It says, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly." Speaking of World War III, okay? Now, over right here in 13 it says, "And the 10th part of the city fell." Let's see. If we go over to how many FEMA regions are there in the United States? Ooh. 10. There's 10. All right, so when 10 is done, that's the complete, that's the complete United States right there. Okay, that's that. Okay, so we got a Revelation 11 and 8. Let's move on. Go to Revelation 6 and 12. Okay, and then we'll be back in Revelation 11th chapter in a little bit more towards the end, I believe. So let's get it 6 and 12. And it reads, okay, so this is what's going to happen. This is what's coming. The World War III, nuclear devastation, all right, and the coming of Yahushua. This is happening. This is coming. Okay, this isn't a fairy tale, right, that you read. This isn't like, Little Red Riding Hood, all right? This is real stuff right here. All right? This is real prophetic, all right, real prophecies. These are real prophecies that are going to come to pass. All right? As much as you wish they were a fairy tale, they're not. Okay, this is Revelation 6 and 12. "And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind." That's speaking of nuclear missiles falling. All right, not physical stars, nuclear missiles falling, all right, to earth. All right, being shot over. And we can tell because in verse 14, what does it say? It says, "And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together." Look up a mushroom cloud, all right? And if the Spirit's working with you, you'll be able to see how it unfolds like a scroll when it goes off, all right? And it says, "And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men and the rich men, and the chief captains and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and the rocks of the mountains." And the elite are going to do that. They're going to hide themselves in these multi-billion dollar bunkers, all right, nuclear submarines, so on and so forth. Hide themselves in the grounds, all right, up in the mountains. All right, they got that mountains going down. It's for millionaires. All right, more than likely billionaires. You pay a lot to go in there, and it's not like a little resort in there. All right, and that's that's where these people are going to go. All right, and you average Joes, you're going to be forced to go to places like libraries and wherever else that says nuclear shelter, and those things those aren't going to work. All right, it says, "And said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb." That is, they wanted to be hidden from Yahweh Shem Yahushai because they don't want him getting to them. For verse 17, "For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" So there you go. And then it says, "And after these things I saw," in 7 and 1, it says, "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree." Okay? And if you go down through... if you skip down to 4, it says, "And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel." It tells you how many are sealed from each one. Okay, that's speaking of the 144,000, not just the elect, or that's, you know, that's speaking of the 144,000. The elect is part of that as well. It's not just 144,000 that's getting saved. There's an elect, all right, which is 1/3 of Israel. The 144,000 is a part of the elect. Okay, now if you go down, let's see. Bear with me. Let me see. It's lucky for all the talking in the background. Let's see, for bear with me. Yeah, this is speaking of after. Well, no, right here in verse, yeah, you can go down. Let's see if from 7, well, from 6, all right, it speaks of all the things coming to pass, you know, the things being destroyed. If you want to skip down to, we can grab, we'll jump down to 13, all right? And so after, you know, the angels are doing their parts, all right, you can read those yourself. You're down to 13, it says, "And I beheld, I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe," all right? 1 woe, 2 woe, 3 woe, that's first woe, all right, was First World War. Second woe was Second World War, all right? And then third woe, Third World War, and it says, "To the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voice of the trumpet of the 3 angels which are yet to sound." And that speaks of the 5th angel sounding, all right? And it says, "And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him it was given the key of the bottomless pit." All right, in verse 2 it says, "And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit, and as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit." All right, so then you can continue on. Well, this is, if you go, let's see, right here. You go on 4, it says, "And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of the Most High in their foreheads." And according to the lesson that we're going to make tomorrow, and the scriptures that we're going to grab, this seal is a spiritual mark, all right, the mark of election that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to put in their foreheads. You're not going to be able to see it. It's not a stamp, all right? It's a spiritual mark, all right? There you go, okay? So there you go, and you can continue on from there. So this is you know, if you have the spiritual eye to receive it, yeah, you know, you can receive it, but a lot of you don't. A lot of you don't. All right, so that's Revelation. Where were we? That was Revelation 8. All right, so let's get. So we scrolled down from 6. Let's get Revelation 18 and 1. All right, it reads, where are we going down? We're going down through 21, okay? 18 and 1 through 21. It says, "The revelation of Yahushai HaMashiach, which the Most High gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass, and he that sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bear record of the word of the Most High and the testimony of Yahushai HaMashiach, and of all the things that he saw. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." For the time is at hand, Jake. All right, "John, to the 7 churches which are in Asia, grace be unto you, and peace from him which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne, and from Yahushai HaMashiach, which is the faithful witness, and the first begotten of the dead, and of the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood." Okay? And that's why we have things like repentance, all right, is because of Yahushai's sacrifice. Okay? "And hath made us kings and priests unto the Most High and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen." All right, it says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and the clouds are chariots, okay? Now, which so-called UFOs, as the world would call them. And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, the same people that put him to death. And how's that going to happen if those people were, died thousands of years ago? How's that going to happen? Because reincarnation, and all kindreds of the earth shall well because of him, even so, amen. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty. I, John, who am also your brother and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom and patience of Yahushua HaMashiach, was in the isle that is called Patmos for the word of the Most High and for the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, unto Smyrna, unto Pergamos, and to Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and to Philadelphia, and to Laodicea. All right, Laodicea. All right, Salakia. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And I being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, like one unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. Okay, and as you can see, his head and his hairs were like wool, as white as snow. And that doesn't it's just the color, not the texture. Now it's speaking of the texture as well, Esau, and white as snow. And his eyes were as flame of fire. Okay, not blue. And his feet like unto fine brass. And if your feet's one color, the rest of your body is going to be that color as well. They might differentiate in like a quarter of a shade, all right? But, if you're very brown on your feet, you're very brown on the rest of your body. So don't try it, Esau. Don't try. Oh, he's all colors. No, he's not. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burnt in a furnace. So not just like brass. Brass had been burned in a furnace, so very dark, as if they burn in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead, and he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, Fear not, I am the first and the last. All right, and where are we going down to here? 21. All right, I am the first, Lucky. I am the first and the last. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death. All right, and hell isn't speaking of a physical place where you go and burn, where that's a red devil cartoon character is pitching the ass with a pitchfork. That's not how it goes. Write these things which thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. The mystery of the 7 stars which thou sawest in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks which thou sawest are the 7 churches. Okay, and we went 18. Was this 18? One minute. Wait, what do we grab here? 18. 1 minute. It's good regardless. Let me see. Yeah, Slocky, we were reading something completely different. All right, well, that was Slocky. We were reading something completely different. It's good information nonetheless. All right, speaking of speaking of the Lord. All right, Slocky, we were on something completely different. All right, Slocky for that. All right, Revelation 18 and 1. All right, speaking of because we're speaking of war here. All right, Slocky. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have waxed rich to the abundance of her delicacies. All right, we got that earlier. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she hath filled to her double. Let me grab a drink, Salakia. Says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen. I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. This is coming, Jake. All right, and you Edomites, that you're not going to get it anyway, but this is coming. All right, to America. For the Lord is for strong is the Lord our power, who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city of Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of the most precious wood and of brass and of iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men and their fruits. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee. And all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. Okay, and we can leave it there. We were going to 21, but that really gets it. All right. And in 26 and 17, you can read them. All the sinners are going to be put to death as well. Okay, they're all going to be put to death as well. So there you go. There you go. So not good times for you. Okay, not good times for you. Let's get Ezekiel 7:25. All right. Is it just 25? Sure is. All right. Ezekiel 7:25. Okay. Yeah, we'll just get 25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Okay, so just know that. Just know that. Okay. Just know that you're not going to have peace. No matter how you try to find it, you won't get none. Okay. It's, you're not even in your little bunker. You're not going to know, man. You're going to be stripped out of those bunkers. All right. Was it 11:5 or 15? 15. Salakia. All right. So 15. Okay. And this is what's going to happen. This is what we're waiting for right here. All right. We're waiting for the war as well. All right. But right here, Revelation 11:15. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. Okay, that's what we're waiting for. That's what we are waiting for. And the 24 elders which sat before the Most High on their seats fell upon their faces and worshipped the Most High, saying, We give thee thanks, O Lord our power almighty, which art and wast and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and has reigned. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for, our Lord, all right, Yahweh Shai to come into power, right? For the world, for him to be in power, and, for him to get his inheritance and share his inheritance with us as part of our inheritance. That's what we're waiting for, all right? And, Esau going into captivity, the other heathen nations going into captivity, all right? Wickedness being wiped out, righteousness being established, all right? Not being under the curses, not being oppressed anymore. That's what we're waiting for, all right? I know it doesn't sound so great for you, because what do you get out of it, right? Well, you get a swift ass beating, Esau. That's what you get, all right? So, and you're gonna like it, all right? You're not gonna like it, but hey, you're not gonna open your damn mouth about it, all right? So you're gonna have to deal with it. So this is 2nd Esdras 6, all right, and 9, and just showing you that you're not going to be in power anymore, Esau. Okay, and we could continue to go on. But we're already over an hour here, aren't we? An hour and 30 minutes, it says. All right, supposedly it says. But anyway, we're going to close out with 2nd Esdras 6 and 3. It reads, okay, for Esau. No, we'll get from 8. Okay? And he said unto me from Abraham, Slakia, if my mouth would work, and he said unto me from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so yes, there will be World War III. Yes, America is going to fall. All right, yes, all right, the Matoba will be established. All right, yes, the Yahweh Shai is going to, be in control. You Edomites are not going to be in rulership anymore. Yes, all these things are going to happen. All right, you don't get it. But just because you don't understand doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just because you didn't pass the test, everybody in the whole class got an exam and you didn't pass it. That means everybody didn't get it. No, some people get it. All right, the brothers and the sisters that can that receive this knowledge through their men. All right. Understand what's gonna happen, that Yahweh Shai is gonna come back and dead this place and save his elect. All right, but and even not speaking of these people don't know about Yahweh Shai coming back. Some of these, not the Israelites, of course, but these worldly people, but they know there will be a World War III. All right, and they know there's going to be destruction. It's not looking so great. They just don't know the part about Yahweh Shai, which is the most important part. He's coming back to deliver his elect, and he's really the one doing this destruction, not the rulers of the world. They're puppets. All right, they're puppets. Okay. They're puppets, all right? The Most High is controlling these people. They think they did all this. Oh, we're so great. Look, we didn't know. The Most High did that, all right? He allowed you to be able to, give you the ability to build a nuclear warhead, all right? You guys didn't do that yourself. Shut up. Stop with your hubris, all right? But, hey, that's going to be wiped out soon anyway, because all the pride are gonna be put to death. All the proudful are going to be put to death, okay? So that's been, if these people get it, why don't you, Jake, part 2, all right, dealing with World War III and nuclear war, all right, nuclear destruction, all right, Armageddon, okay, Armageddon, all right, the coming of our Lord, all right, that's it. That's it. Okay. That's it. And if these people that get it, why don't you, Jake? And like we said in the first one, all right, you don't have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. But, through these 2 editions, all right, all together, that's over. I think the first one was like an hour and 30. This one's an hour and 30. That's like 3 hours worth of, information. All right. And Salaki, I messed up and went on a different scripture there because I got it I think I ended up, putting it into the King James Version instead of the Apocrypha. But, again, we grabbed that as well. It showed you how the Lord's going to look. And you lie about that too. But just to let you know how he looks when he does show up. That's what he's going to look like. All right. A so-called black man. All right. So, it wasn't, nothing out of the Bible is ever gotten for naught. All right. It's still edification. Just wasn't necessarily pertaining to the topic at hand. But with that, we're going to close out. All right. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. All right. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. I I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. All right. It's coming soon. All right. It's coming soon, but a lot of you people don't believe it. All right. So, hey, with that, Lord willing, until the next one, shalom.